Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a new reading vlog. Sure, let's go with that. I am one prompt away from getting a bingo on the Horror Reading Challenge that Sarah from Wicked Reading does. So this is going to be my wrap-up of the year, but also I need to find a water-setting horror novel. And I have some on my wish list for Audible, which I have a credit right now, so I could do that. I also have Looking Glass Sound by Katrina Ward, but I have read from Katrina Ward before and not enjoyed it, so I'm actually terrified to read that. Then I have River of Teeth by Sarah Gailey. I don't know what this is, but it sounds okay. So it's like United States government. Oh, they're trying to import hippopotamuses so that they can hunt them and kill them and eat them. That sounds horrifying. But I think that would count for a water horror. Or there's 100 Fathoms Below by Stephen L. Kent. I don't remember what hard mode is for this particular one, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna read a water setting horror novel. I finished part 1 of Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams, and this has been on my want-to read list since February when it came out, right? So initially I started reading this because I heard, so you follow a couple of best friends who are going extreme caving. I mean, it is extreme. It's for beginners, but it's extreme. So I would question if it's for beginners. But then there's this random man that just approaches them as they're going into the cave. And it was kind of like, red flag, red flag, red flag. What are you doing? And, you know, It's just kind of like, okay, well, what's going on with them? And then you get a chapter of after, and you're following from Tessa has died, and you're following from her best friend Olivia. I don't think her name is Olivia. Tess. Oh, okay. Tess. Okay, so Allie. So Allie has died, and Tess is the one that you're following from. And Tess dies. Can I tell you that without it? Okay, well, I just told you. Tess dies. So you're following from Allie dies. Wow. Allie dies. And you're following from Tess's perspective as she's being interviewed after. And you know that there was this man that kind of started talking to them right before they went into the cave. And I picked this because, well, it's been on my most anticipated list all year, and I still haven't read it. So I'm finally reading it. But also, I thought that it was like aquatic horror, or it could count for water horror because there's water in the cave and they have to descend all the way down into the cave. So the water is a problem, and it's very claustrophobic, and I am enjoying this book so much. So we've been in Tess's perspective. We're finally starting part 2, which is from Jacob's perspective. So I'm assuming Jacob is that random man that talked to them. Yes, he is. I do remember his name is Jacob. So we're going to see what he has to say. And I feel like it's going to be a puzzle of like what actually happened and who's reliable and who's not. But this caving experience is very, very dramatic and very, very like claustrophobic. And there are parts that are terrifying, like actually horrifying. So part of me wants to count it for the horror reading challenge, but I think as of right now, it's more of a thriller with terrifying things. Okay, I'm like halfway done with part 2, which I think I'm at chapter 26. And holy dang, there was just this big reveal that I have to say I did not see coming. Like, I was shooketh by this thing that happened. Like, it was crazy. So it's crazy, but if I tell you, then I'm gonna spoil it, and I can't spoil it because so rude. But my mind was like, wait, no, you should have saw my face. Like, it was just like my jaw was on the floor. Oh my gosh. This book, Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams, is the most twisted book I've ever read by this author. It's full of twists and turns. Like, I'm just enjoying this ride. And again, I'm not gonna count it for my horror reading challenge, but I probably can find a spot on the thriller reading challenge from Alexis Fully Booked. So maybe after I finish this book, I only have an hour left. Which is crazy, but what the heck is going on? My mind is just spinning. And I can't really tell you anything else because I don't want to spoil it. But my son and I are going to do some more coloring while I finish this audiobook, I think. Yesterday we painted and I tried to crochet, but I cannot for the life of me figure out how to crochet. So I'm gonna keep that fox because my husband got it for me for Christmas, but I don't think I'm good at crocheting. I know I just need to keep practicing, but it's difficult for me. So if you know how to crochet and you want to give me some tips in the comments, maybe I could use all of them. But I think we're just gonna kind of chill out, color for a little while. I'm doing a color by numbers. I really like the color by numbers, the paint by numbers. I'm not good at crochet. I don't like that. I haven't really found a puzzle that I like. I don't think I'm a puzzler. I would be interested in trying puzzling again, but the last time it was a 1,000-piece puzzle. I think I want to start with a smaller puzzle to see if it's something that my attention span can go to, or if I enjoy it or not. I don't know if I showed you this finished, but it says do what makes you happy, and there's like flowers and it's really cute. I think I did a good job. I just finished Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. What? Oh my god. This is my favorite thriller of the year so far. My favorite thriller, well, it came out this year, but also my favorite thriller that I've read this year. To be quite fair though, I haven't read a lot of thriller books. Like, I think I kind of lost the passion for just like a good thriller, but that was perfection. Like, the twists and turns and like the claustrophobic horror of it. Yeah, it was kind of scary, but I would not consider this a horror book, so I'm not gonna count it for a water horror. Although I think technically you could stretch it and say that. But I'm gonna take a break from reading for a little bit because I'm still processing this. It was so good though. It was like twisted and dark and full of turns, and you essentially follow Tess and Allie, who are best friends, and they're going caving, and then this random man shows up and starts trying to it sounds like he's hitting on them, and they're just like, ew, go away. But then I'm pretty sure he follows them into the cave, and I can't tell you anything else, but just know that my mind was blown. There's only like 4 characters in this, and okay, there's only like 6 characters in this entire thing, this entire book. But it was so claustrophobic and so, like, this was such a good thriller. So I need to read more thrillers this year because I think I forgot how much I loved thrillers. So I'm so excited. I am going to take a break from reading. I'm going to play some games with my son and just have kind of like a chill day. He has a dentist appointment in a little bit too, so we gotta get ready for that also. I'm about halfway through with Breakneck Bay by Faith Gardner. I'm loving this book. It's so good. So you follow Kit, who is married to, honestly, I don't like her husband. I don't trust him. But he's the owner of the Breakneck Bay, like, amusement park, water park. It's a water park. and she works there. She just started working there recently, and now one of the girls that was working there went missing, and so now we're trying to find this missing girl, because this water park is notorious for hiring like young teenagers or young early 20-year-old girls specifically to work there. But it's like a teenager's job, you know, it's like the first job you've ever gotten type of place, except for Kit, because she's married to the owner or the guy that's in charge. I don't think he owns it. I think he's just in charge and acts like he owns the place, but he doesn't. I haven't quite figured that part out yet, but I don't trust him. I think that there's something there, and I don't like him. This is a wonderful thriller because I have no idea who I can trust. And right now, there's like something super heartbreaking happening between Kit and her brother, who also is an addict. And there are some dark secrets about him that have just come up. So I'm excited to like finish this story. With that being said, it was labeled as a thriller horror on Goodreads. It's not a horror. It's not a horror novel. It's a mystery thriller. The mystery being that that girl that worked at the water park went missing, and now we're trying to figure out what happened to her. So again, I still need to find a water setting horror book. I am going to finish this mystery thriller because for some reason mystery thrillers are amazing right now. At least the two that I've read recently or am in the process of reading them. I'm enjoying this book so much. I might switch around some of the books that I've read for this, for the horror reading bingo, and pick a different prompt, because technically I could move the Darcy Coates book that is a 2025 release. I could move that down to water setting because it was on an island. It took place on or near the water for almost the entire book. I hated that book, but I could do that, which would just mean that I need to go through and see if I have any 2025 release like dark books, like darker thrillers, dark romance even, dark fantasy. I know some people read that, or any horror books, but I only have, this is it, along with these two. That's it. That's all I have for horror novels that are unread on my shelf. I'm doing very good. But I think I am going to go look through and see if I can find any that were published in 2025. And then I just won't get the hard mode for that one. Breakneck Bear. Just kidding. Breakneck Bay. The water park mystery about the teenager that went missing. Yeah, it got really, really, really good. I was wrong. That's all I'm gonna say. I think she's wrong. I think Kit is wrong. So I'm going to finish Breakneck Bay by Faith Gardner in this vlog. I have an hour left and I am just immensely loving it. Like, oh, I have not been in the thriller game in a while. I kind of gave up on thrillers, and I don't know why. I think this entire year I've read 5 thrillers. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I've read 8, but 2 of them were romantic suspense. So, I've read 6, including the one from yesterday. So, that's crazy. But I ended up moving around a bunch of the books on my bingo board so that I can actually just not read another water-setting horror novel and just do a rapid fire wrap-up of the Horror Reading Challenge. We'll see how rapid fire it is, but I want to finish this. I want to wrap it up with you and then finish Breakneck Bay, and I'll come back and talk about that, and then this vlog will be over because I'm not interested in water-setting horror. Like, I don't know, I like eco horror, but other than Into the Drowning Deep, I haven't found like a water horror book that I like. So I changed some things around, but let's get into it. So the first prompt was read a 2025 release. For that, I read Tantrum by Rachel Eve Moulton. This felt like 2 separate books that were interconnected because the first half of the book was my favorite subgenre of horror. It was like mama horror. So this woman had her 3rd baby, but when the baby comes out, she thinks the baby is evil. She's like against this child. And you're wondering if it's the child or if the mother is maybe going through postpartum or is crazy or something. What's going on there? But then the second half of the novella, it's very short, was like monster horror, and just it didn't make sense, and it didn't work for me, and it was unfortunate because the first half would have been a 5-star, but because I drastically hated the ending of this book, I only gave it 3 stars. So know that if you read it. Then the next one is Mixed Media. This was my favorite book on this entire bingo board. It's perfection. It's also something that's going to make you angry. And like, I threw my copy of this book across the room when I was done with it. And then I later got up and apologized and gave it a hug. But I still had to throw it across the room because it was horrible. So for my mixed media book, I read Any Man by Amber Tamblyn. And I got the hard mode on this one. You have to have more than 3 different types of like mixed media. So it could be like poetry, it could be transcripts, it could be interviews. This one was mostly told in interview format, but there was also like Instagram, and it was a really engaging book. But it was about like how society always says that when a woman is R-worded, when she's R-worded, that it's mostly her fault because of the way she dresses or the way she was leading him on, or just for purely existing. It's always the woman's fault, right? So Amber Tamblyn wrote the story that was very much opposite of that, kind of. So there's this woman who is R-wording men. She's violating these men. And a lot of the time society is like, well, men can't be victims. Like, they're not, you could push her, you could hurt her. But men can be victims. And in this book, the men were victimized. And it was just really horrifying, but clever look at society, and it made me angry. It made me so angry. But it's one that I would definitely recommend. I gave it 5 stars. The next one was indie or self-published, and for hard mode it has to be by an author you've never read from before. For that, I read Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. Just know that the prologue is the best part of this book. The rest of it was mediocre. I gave it a 3-star. It was fine, but nothing that I'm gonna ever really think about again. I have a paranormal book. So for that, I just changed this. I picked Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. This is a sci-fi horror novel where this crew of astronauts goes on this mission. And the mission is to find this ship that's basically a ghost ship that went missing 20 years ago. And they all go, it's basically a suicide mission. They know this. And there are different reasons for people choosing to go. And they found the ship. They do find the ship. And it's haunted. They have stolen from another TBR. Bonus points if it's a horror TBR. This was from one of the horror TBRs that I watched. So this is Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley. This was like a summertime slasher. It was fine. It's very not memorable. So I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. You're going to realize that most of this board is just, it's fine. 3 stars. The next one is vampires, and I did get hard mode for set in modern times with vampires. I read Night's Edge by Liz Curran. Can we pretend I didn't read this? This one is a 2-star book, and 2-star was very generous. So it's supposed to be like this epic vampire story, but it's not. I mean, there is a virus, the vampire virus, and it is super contagious, kind of. But more than that, it was just this toxic mother-daughter relationship. That's all it was. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. Speaking of not liking it, water setting for that, I read How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates. And you know what? I gave this one 1 star. I did not like it. It was like influencers on Survivor on this island. And in theory it sounded so good, but I was so bored. Then the next one is horror movie elements. So for easy mode, you could read a book that has to do with horror movies. It has to have an interwoven in there. Hard mode was to watch a horror movie. So of course I did hard mode. I actually went to the theater to see Scream 7 with my husband. We do not ever get to go to the movie theater anymore because, you know, kids. But no, we actually had a date night and got to go see the cheesiest, like, Scream franchise has me in a chokehold. I love Ghostface. But is it cheesy and kind of silly? Absolutely. But I did watch it, so it counts. The next one is to make the word ghost or scare with the letters. I think this one is ghost. And it's Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. This one was very disappointing for me. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. But it follows a bunch of, like, true crime enthusiasts. And they're trying to solve some cold cases. And then people start dying. In theory, it sounds really good, but it wasn't. Okay, then I don't know what the next one is. The next one is Liminal Spaces. Oh, this one was so hard for me. I don't like liminal spaces, horror novels. So, just letting you know, I did end up reading Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine. This was 4 stars. The first half of this book was amazing because it was, this woman has been struggling to get pregnant. She goes through the IVF process, and she becomes pregnant. but she goes to the doctor, and the doctor tells her that she lost the baby. But she, in her mind, can still feel the baby moving around. She's like, no, the doctor's wrong. The doctor's wrong. And from there, I can't tell you anything because that's spoiler territory. But I do not love the direction that it went towards the later half. So for that, it would have been a 5-star if it would have kept the momentum. It would have been a 5-star if it kept the momentum of the first half of the story. A library book, and hard mode is to return it on time. I returned it early, so I should get bonus points. Cha-ching! For that, I read Mother Thing by Ansel Hogarth. This follows a woman who gets married to, her husband, the man of her dreams, and then her mother-in-law dies and becomes a literal ghost and starts haunting them. I hated this book. I think I gave it 2 stars, but again, that was generous. It should be more of a 1-star book. I do not recommend it. I thought it was stupid. But here's the thing. I read a lot of... No, I don't. I listen to a lot of Reddit stories of, like, Massacre Mother-in-Law or, like, Nightmare Mother-in-Law. I read them. I listen to them all, but I don't know. I wanted more. It felt like it was lacking. Then, picked by chance, was Hex by Thomas Oldhelvet. My husband picked this for me back in October. Do you want to know when I finished it? It is the 29th of July. I finished this massive book on Monday the 20th. So just now. Just barely finished Hex. Here's the thing. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I gave it, it's probably like a 3.5 star. But it's a horror novel. So it follows this entire town, and they're cursed, and there's a ghost witch that's haunting them. This book is far too long. It takes a lot of backstory to get where we were. And those are my critiques of it. But at the end of the day, it felt like Stars Hollow from Gilmore Girls. So it felt like a horror novel that was giving me like this great big hug that had awful people, where the actual like ghost was the nicest and best part of the story. Like the curse, in my humble opinion, the curse was earned because these people were horrible, especially the young people, like the young adults and the 20-year-olds in this book. They sucked. Ooh, okay. The next one is a book I've been putting off, and to get hard mode, it had to be the first book you read for this challenge. It was. So I read Breathers by S.G. Brown, and I gave it 3 stars. It's zombies that fall in love. An LGBT rep. For that, I read Nothing Tastes as Good by Luke Dumas. This was an unexpected 5 out of 5 stars. Loved it. It's honestly, nothing happens in this book. Nothing happens in this book. So if you need like action, if you need plot, don't read this. But for me, I loved it because I fell in love with the characters, and it's really just a look on society about like fat phobia and about how people get treated differently because they're bigger. And like, I'm sorry, but you don't know their story, Maybe they struggle with their weight. Maybe they have some health issues and they're just bigger, you know, and this one also angered me a lot, like any man. I gave this one 5 stars, but it's all about like fat phobia and being very, not mean, like cruel, being so horrible to people just because they're bigger. It was horrifying. It was gross. It disgusted me, and I loved it. Okay, the next one was a buddy read. I read Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison with a friend, and it's interesting because she loved it. I did not. I don't think Rachel Harrison is for me. She writes more like cozy horror. I'm not a cozy girly. I want something more extreme or more yeah. Have recommended for me. I read Youth Juice by E.K. Saunter. If you like Bunny, you will like this. I hated this. And I think that when I read Bunny, I think I told you that I loved it. It took me 6 months to read Bunny, and I didn't like it. I don't even own my copy anymore. So I think previous Alida is a little bit of a liar. But it's like what Bunny did for like the college, this did for the health industry, health and beauty. I didn't particularly like it. I gave it 2 stars, but it's a novella, I believe. Yeah, a novella. And for that, I read Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson, and I'm happy to report that I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. I really thought it was going to be overhyped, and I thought I wouldn't like it. But you follow this woman that goes to the farmer's market where she falls insta-love. I hated the insta-love part, but it's okay, I got over it. And she starts dating the baker there. And then their relationship kind of just gets very unhinged and very, weird. Yeah, very weird, very unhinged, very in your face. It was wonderful because both women in this, in this relationship were hiding dark secrets and were very off-putting. They deserve each other, honestly. The next one was eco horror. For that, I read Green Fuse Burning. I didn't know going into this that it was like a Greek horror set at a swamp where magical realism stuff starts happening. It was speculative. I gave it 3 stars. Again, it was fine. This verb in the title. So for that, I read What Waits Below by Caleb and Stevens. This one is an unexpected gem because, honestly, the first part of it is just like her dad has kidnapped her. He's been locked up in prison for killing her mom. He broke out of prison and went to kidnap her. And he's like, no, then the world is upon us. We need to go. We need to, like, hide. I'm saving you. And he, like, took her to this underground dungeon to keep her safe. And, you're thinking the whole time that he doesn't know what he's talking about. There's no zombies. And then, yeah, you just gotta wait it out. It's very slow simmering. Not a lot happens. But, when it finally did happen, it was wonderful. I gave this book 4 stars. It was very unexpected, but I loved it. Okay. The next one was a second chance book this is literally a second chance book. I DNF'd this book, and then I went back to it mainly because Gabby from Gabby Reads was like, oh, I loved this book, and I watched a vlog where she read it and she really authentically enjoyed this book. So I was like, okay, I'll give it another shot. So I read Daphne by Josh Malerman, and I wish I would have kept that DNF there. I gave it 2 stars, but again, I think that was kind of generous. Our last row is Animal on the cover, and for that I read When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. This was really good. I think I gave it 4 stars. But you follow this little boy that was running away from his house, and his neighbor rescues him basically. But what you don't know is that this boy, he has mind powers where he can think something and then it's real. So he thought that his dad was a big bad wolf, so his dad turned into the big bad wolf. A lot of magical fairy tale elements that honestly, going into this book, I'm like, I'm gonna hate this book. It's not gonna be something I like. It's gonna be horrible. And then I ended up really loving it. I don't know, maybe it's a 5-star read. I think it's 5 stars. I think originally I gave it 4 stars, but the more I talk about it, the more perfect I remember it being. I know why I gave it 4 stars. Because of the ending. I was mad about the ending, but you know what? If a novel can make you feel something like that, then it deserves a higher rating. So I think I'm going to change it to 5 stars later. The next one is a 1-word title, and for that one I read Nestlings by Nat Cassidy. Here's the thing, this one felt like 2 separate books compounded into one. The first half, 5 out of 5 stars. It's like mama horror. This woman just had a baby, but during labor there was problems, and she's now paralyzed. But she also won this apartment lottery, and she's like, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna get that apartment for free. Think Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. So it's atmospheric, it's dark, it's got the mama horror, it's perfection. Then the second half of the book happens, and there are unexpected creatures in this book that I had a certain feeling about that I didn't like. I don't like creature features though, so I definitely think it's more of a me problem. But with both of them combined, I would give it 4 stars. 3 to 4, but the beginning of that book had such potential. Okay, next is a debut book, and hard mode is to read by an author that only has that one book out. I did succeed, I think, since I read this book. Jacqueline Walters has actually come out with another book that I'm highly interested in reading, but Dearest by Jacqueline Walters came out. It's another mama horror, and she's struggling with motherhood, and she calls her mom, who they have a very strained relationship anyway, but she calls her mom. She's like, I need you to come help me, I don't know how to be mom. So of course mom, her mom comes to rescue her, and then creepy things start happening. Then there's Creep by Emma Van Straten.
Creep is on the bingo board for a book that works with another goal that I have.
This follows this woman who is a house cleaner in New York, and she has been working for this man for a long time. I don't think they've actually ever met. She's been working there for a year. But now she's starting to drink his milk and his orange juice out of the bottle, and move stuff around. Not like clean stuff, but like move stuff and take stuff. Like, I think she took a pair of his underwear. It's weird. I enjoyed this a lot. I gave it 5 stars. It was like stalker behavior. She had stalker behavior. And then she finally met the man that hired the service in real life, and that was super unhinged. And I love a good unhinged horror novel. So if you have any recommendations for unhinged horror novel, especially unhinged women, leave them down below for me. The last one is social commentary, and for that I read Bat Eater and Other Names for Corazine by Kylie Lee Baker. This takes place during COVID, and the hate for Asian Americans in that time, I have the luxury of not like thinking about it or not worrying about it. Oh, that was horrifying. That's all I can say. Like, the hatred, this was all about pure hatred. And oh my god, I wanted to throw up because of the sickening things that they were doing to Cora, to Asian Americans as a whole, this was terrifying. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I very much so enjoyed it, but it was also just horrifying, which I just finished Neck Break Bay by Faith Gardner. What? That was amazing. It was a really, really fun thriller. And I don't know what it is with these thrillers I'm picking, but I am loving them. I kind of want to just pick another thriller and just keep going with more thrillers, but I don't know. Thank you so much for hanging out with me the last couple days in this reading vlog. I know we didn't actually find an aquatic horror novel to add to my bingo board, but we moved some things around and we got a blackout on my horror reading bingo, so I get to just breathe with that one for a little bit and work on the other goals that I have. So if you want to see me working on those goals, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and it's always a fun time.